good afternoon, is whatever time of day it is today with you. I want to talk about services again in the UK, how people get advice, why people get advice, and I just thought I'd do a quick PowerPoint presentation. Today I'm going to cover a few different topics and we shall talk about them as we go on. What is financial planning? It generally involves people getting together and discussing their goals and trying to help clients build wealth. That's what an advisor would do. But to do that, you need to find out, or an advisor needs to find out about people's current and future plans. So normally that's done through something called a fact find. So you might present what you're doing with yourselves, work-wise, what your current financial situations are with regards to mortgages or savings. I remember I did a video not long ago about the increase in interest rates. Obviously, will be affecting people. The increases in interest rates. I think we're all accepting of that now, and interest rates at least seem to be starting to come down a little bit, although they're a lot higher.
So, good day.
Oh, no, they were a lot higher than they were. Who regulates the financial services industry? Obviously, that's important to know. The Financial Conduct Authority regulate the industry, but there are other organisations who oversee the Financial Conduct Authority, such as the Prudential Regulatory Association. I'm not sure I've got that quite right, and the Bank of England, of course. It is important to know that a business is regulated because it gives consumers a level of trust and routes to go down if there's a problem. It's old news. This isn't old news, it's new news. But I suppose as you go along your financial journey, there are times when you have to make different plans or take different actions based on circumstances. So at this point, I was trying to find a video of someone pivoting their sofa around the stairs, which takes me back to a Friends episode from, I don't know, about 2012 or something. Okay, so a pivot is a rearrangement, a recreation of your numbers. I guess it's a bit like reworking your budget or thinking about how you got your budget in the first place and what might improve your situation. Who knows? Okay, that's my software playing silly games with me there for a minute. So the team, obviously, every firm's different. That isn't my picture. My name's Nicholas. I'm a sort of YouTube, not guru. I like doing the odd clip. I was thinking about this. Videos are very old terminology. I mean, I remember putting cassettes into great big boxes that sat under the television. We called them videos. That's going back a long time now. And of course, everything has gone sort of more tech now. And same with financial services. When did you last write a check? Can't think when I last wrote a check. I log into my app and make payments. So yeah, the industry's moved and we try and keep up as best we can. I mean, look at the image on the right, salesman, a young man, wouldn't know what a video is, never written a check, but is up to date with what's going on currently in the industry and can use all the modern methods of getting things done. Just going back then, when you do speak to a firm or an advisor or get advice, it's often very wise to check that they are regulated by the FCA, but also you might want to check their status. They just representing one company's products, or do they have a limited number of companies they can use, or are they sort of what we call whole of market? And that can apply to borrowing, insurance policy, or even savings. So find out who they represent, and then your advisor will obviously introduce themselves and find out about you, work out what your desires and needs are. Normally they go away and do some research and come back to you with some calculations or some plans or recommendations of products that might suit you and what you want to do. And then, if everyone agrees, then there's applications to be made, documents submitted, or plans of action to take, however that may be. Obviously, everyone's different. Everyone's got different stages of life. I'm in my 50s now, heading towards my 60s, so I should really be thinking about my retirement. It's 10, 15 years away, but it comes around fast. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I'm not starting out. I'm not taking my first mortgage yeah. And the other thing is there's many ways of funding different things. So you don't have to put all your money into a pension, for example. You can put money into ISAs, and there's pros and cons. But I'm not going to go into that now. That's something for an advisor to discuss. So, what do you do next? Well, that's for you to agree with your advisor, I suppose. But the thing I wanted to say is, we take all the business very seriously, but obviously it's a journey, and you've got to remember to have a bit of pleasure or enjoyment along the way, because life shouldn't all be work. It'd be rather boring otherwise. And yeah, keep saving a bit if you can. I remember back in the day, someone said always try and save 10% of your salary. Build that emergency fund if something does happen and you've got a little bit of cash behind you is always useful rather than just building up debt, because some people we meet just never seem to be able to pay down their debt, which, people can be helped in that situation. It's not ideal. But again, if you speak to an advisor, they should be able to point you in the right directions of other agencies that might be able to help or can help. So that was it. Yeah, once you've done your fact find, make a second appointment, go along, see what's suggested, and good luck. Today's video isn't sponsored by St James's Place, but they are like an advisory network who are pretty good. They train their staff well. If you want to look us up online, movewithnick.co.uk. Not the best website in the world, but it has got my contact number on. You can drop me a message. Thanks for watching.